been tracking for you this evening. Our top story, Mumbai-based cross-border payments platform BRISKPE has raised $5 million in a seed round from PayU, the payments and fintech business of Process. Launched in 2023, BRISKPE claims it empowers businesses to reduce costs, streamline global operations and boost their global competitiveness. To tell us how, joining me now is its co-founder and CEO, Sanjay Tripathy. Sanjay, welcome to Startup Street. In the fiscal year 2023-24, MSME products constituted more than 45% of India's exports. Yet, when venturing into cross-border trade, they face hurdles like high transaction fees and exchange rate volatility. If you could tell us, how is BRISKPE empowering MSME exporters to navigate global markets effortlessly and efficiently?
Well, thank you for inviting me to the show. And see, when we looked at the problem, what we are currently the exporters are facing, there are multi-level problems. One is the transaction fees. It is inclusive of forex charges and the charges for the FIRA and all the other like SWIFT charges and all. So eventually, exporter pays anything between 2 to 8% depending on which platform or the bank he's using. Second, it takes around 5 to 7 days to get that money. It is completely opaque, and reconciliation is a problem. To solve this, what you have actually tried is how to make the journey much more simpler. We have got a digital onboarding in our platform. Entire KYC and KYB process is done in 5 minutes, unless there is a further requirement which is manually need to be checked. It actually goes through in 5 minutes time. Post that, you can actually upload your invoice, or we can create your invoice, and you can send it to your your client over there, and the client can initiate the transaction. You can track the transaction completely, and it comes to your bank, and our processing bank is the AD1 bank, is the Yes Bank. So once the money comes to the AD1 bank, we provide the information, the client information. It actually seamlessly get to the bank account. Everything happens within a day's time. And we also provide digital FIRA. The best part is inclusive of the forex charges, FIRA, SWIFT, everything. We don't charge anything extra. We just charge 1% as a transaction fee. That's all. So I think that's a great saving for the customers, the clients, the merchants who are actually in our platform.
All right. So picking up from what you just said, you are simplifying global payments. But if you could elaborate on the kind of efficiency, transparency, and most importantly, security BRISKPE brings in cross-border payments for its clients.
So we have got a multi-layered, multi-tiered compliance system. So what we do, obviously, we check the not only we check the KYC, KYB, we look at the transaction, what the nature of the transaction, what codes the customer is doing. So basically, it is not just about just accepting the invoice. It's ensuring it's a fair trade, and it is not really a fraud transaction in either side. The second part is that before money coming in, we have got our partners, they also do a thorough check. So we don't really, though it looks very fast, it goes through multi-layer checking and multi-layer compliance. Unless it actually matches that, it is not really getting to the client account. We actually return the money. And also we are a PayU India registered company. So in case we believe that some transaction looks like a fraud transaction, we report it to a PayU India.
Okay. Sanjay, let's talk about the fundraise now. You plan to use the $5 million raised to drive product development and for talent acquisition as well. If you could elaborate on each of these plans, what new offerings are in the pipeline, and will you be hiring across verticals?
Yes. So hiring will go across the verticals. The primary focus will be in the sales and marketing and technology, because the talents are really, really scarce in these two verticals, because we want to have the best in our system. Because see, this is something we want to disrupt the market. So unless we get the right kind of talent in our company, it is not really going to happen. The second part is, obviously, we are looking at growth. So we want to go to the much more deeper segments, to the client segments, and expand our market inside India. So that's like the money will be going primarily into these two areas. And in technology and product side, what we are trying to do, we want to increase we want to utilize the money to make the user experience better. And to understand that from a user perspective, how the technology can help him to navigate all these challenges which I discussed before, and make it much more faster, quicker, and transparent for the customers.
Okay, Sanjay, you also plan to use the funds for business expansion. Any new markets that you're eyeing?
So India is a great market. India is a very, very big market. As you rightly said, India is looking at $2 trillion exports. Even if that's a 45 to 50%, we are talking about SMB export volume by 2030 is $1 trillion. So what we are looking at is how to go deeper in India. Particularly, we are focusing on the manufacturing segment, but because most of the players which are there in the market or the other fintechs or the global players, they focus on the services side, but manufacturings are primarily in the banks customers. So that's the kind of customer base we are going after. We want to go deeper into India, into different clusters. And also we want to give that facility to both manufacturing and services side. So that's what our plan is, primarily focused on India and getting more deeper and,
All
getting
right.
into tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Okay, so getting more deeper into the country, but what are the current business growth numbers? If you could take us through BRISKPE's reach, and how many clients do you currently have on board?
We have got 1,000 plus exporters on board at the moment, and that's exactly why we raise the money, because we need more marketing, because the brand is pretty important, because the players we are fighting with are the bigger banks and the global players, global fintech players, which are there for last 2 decades kind of thing. So you need a very strong brand for people to believe that you are a very, very strong player. So this is where we will be spending money, and we believe by 2030 the fintechs will have at least 20% of the market share of the entire cross-border flow. And we believe at least minimum 20% of the fintech flow should come to us.
All right. So, like we discussed, you simplify cross-border transactions for MSMEs. Tell us, how optimistic are you about the potential in cross-border payments? Where do you see the next leg of growth coming for? And if you've got some revenue targets that you could share with us.
Well, we are very, very optimistic, because, if you look at a China plus one strategy by global players, Indian export is just going to grow multi times. This year will be close to $800 billion, but government target to reach by 2030 is $2 trillion, which is almost 3x growth in 5 years' time, which is very, very optimistic. And second part is, we believe that, India, likes last 3-4 years growth, even services will be more than double in next 3 years. Because from 350 to probably it will become a $700 billion. So we are pretty optimistic about India's potential, or the SMB exporters' potential to drive this growth. From a number perspective, I just shared the numbers with you. We want to take 20% of the market share, minimum 20% of the market share.
All right, Sanjay, on that note, I'll have to wrap up our conversation. But many thanks for joining us on Startup Street, and wish you the very best for all your growth plans.
Thank you so much.
All right, so that's 5 million.